Queenz Flip walks off the Joe Budden podcast and disappears for 2 hours.
The whole D-line was going absolutely crazy. Josh Sweat went crazy.
Sweat.
He should have got the MVP.
He should.
That solved that one, but
His body that he killed that.
Tank can sing.
I'm gonna keep it a buck with you.
He can sing.
About
Yeah, on the last episode of the Joe Budden podcast, Queenz Flip disappeared for a bunch of hours, and he tweeted out that it was some type of emergency. But I would wonder, how much of an emergency was it if you came back to the pod later on? On top of this, in the behind-the-scenes footage, it looks even more contentious. As Queenz Flip is departed, he said he gotta go, he's out of here. And Joe says when he's gone, we're not waiting for him.
That's exactly what we're not waiting. Oh.
And he really looked frustrated. He didn't look like he at all enjoyed that Queenz Flip left the show. And even earlier in the behind-the-scenes footage, Flip kind of laid a excuse, you know, like when you about to dip from something and you got to lay the groundwork before you dip, so that way you feel more comfortable about dipping.
I'm going to take a day today. I feel the energy in here. I don't think I'm too versed on these topics.
That's exactly what Queenz Flip did. And the idea that was left in the behind the scenes to me reveals a lot, and I think gives you insights into how patience is wearing thin, with Ian even saying, I'm sick of this. Now, we all know that Queenz Flip's contract is seemingly tied to him appearing on the pod. So could it be that instead of calling out, Flip decided, hey, I'm going to show up to the pod, get paid, and I'm going to just dip when I need to dip? I know people are going to say this is content over everything, but it's not. You can tell that Joe wasn't feeling the movements, and it seemed like Flip did something to circumvent whatever contractual agreement they had. And I don't know, y'all. I really feel like Flip is hitting the wall. You gotta, at one point, get tired of this. I'm getting tired of reporting on it. And it just seems like Flip is more obsessed with taking money from the pod instead of adding actual value to the pod. And I think over time, Joe has gotten tired of it. And his answer is to just add people to the show. So it was Mark Lamont Hill first. Then it became Ian Dunlop. And instead of firing people, he's adding people and hoping people just leave. And Flip is just sticking around. I think Flip is one of these people. I know a lot of these people that instead of making a move on their own, they want you to make the decision for them so they can be more reactive. I've had this situation happen to me in the past. They want to put you in the spot to make the choice. So what they do is they antagonize you. And then hope that when you make the choice, it doesn't look like it was their fault. And that's how they avoid accountability. And I think that's exactly what Flip is doing here. And it even lends credence to what Taxstone said a while back, that Joe was being extorted, and like a friendly extortion where people maybe in Joe's past advocated for Flip, wanted him on the show. You got to remember, Flip was in a bad spot and he wasn't doing too well. I think he said it. He had tax issues. His channel wasn't doing too great. I don't even think he was doing much stuff with Flip the Network. He was really just a skit guy. And Joe dolled him up. Joe put him on his back. Granted, Joe needed him. And now, Flip is giving him his ass to kiss. Almost every other episode. Flip is doing something insanely unprofessional. Threatening to fight cast members. And Melissa Ford called it out. And even though it seemed a bit Karen-y, the actual thing she was referencing was indeed facts. So there's a lot going on. And I think in time we will see Flip out of the show. But I don't know. Joe doesn't have a backbone anymore. What happened to empty couch Joe? Joe is insanely afraid of firing somebody. And I know he pays lip service to the fact that he doesn't care. It's about the business. But Flip should have been fired probably end of last year. Shouldn't be on the show. I know people are going to say it's personal with me and Flip. I'm not saying it's not personal at all with me. I think that when he first got there, he was fun to have on the show, but over time, it's been diminishing returns, and you're starting to see it reflect in the podcast. But let me know what you think about Flip's disappearance from the show. I thought it was interesting, especially 2 hours. And for the first hour, he was actually contributing to the pod. And Flip has been spiraling ever since Mark Lamont Hill arrived, and is making him feel small. He can't really debate with Mark Lamont. He can't really shine when Mark Lamont is there because he takes up the room. And then when he does his Flip stuff, Mark Lamont is easily able to dismiss it. He can't really rebuttal. With that said, follow me on Instagram, The Stop TV. Follow me on Twitter, The Stop TV, and Patreon, The Stop. Oh, man, Drake just dropped that Party album. I really like the majority of the tracks. Give Me a Hug, one of the best Drake tracks I've heard in a while. He sounds a lot more inspired, which is great to see, because I feel like I ain't really like For All the Dogs that much. I thought it could have been a better execution. He was uninspired. I ain't like the features. To me, a lot of the songs sounded like lower level embodiments of previous songs he made. But this sound like a new wave for Drake. And I'm excited to see what he does for his next project, because I wasn't really feeling Party. I don't like Party like that. That's one thing I must say. I don't like Party like that. I think the way he sings is a bit off to me. A lot of people do like Party. But yeah, let me know what you think in the comments about the project. I know it's Drake hate season, so probably no productive conversation will happen as a result of people, the whole culture, Drake's ruining the culture thing. But if you have a good take on the Drake album, leave it in the comments. I'm interested to read it. But other than that, this is Danny from The Stop. Peace.